Hey folks, Ronnie Neuhauser here, back for the next installment of my CD DVD preview series, just to give you guys ideas like what are these things about. I'm gonna stick, the first one that I did was the Nocheez CD, Warm Pom Poms, so I'm gonna kind of stick along with the Nocheez CDs for a bit in order because they have relevance to each other. And the one I'm gonna do today is called Nocheez Orchestra. And it's called Mummarts and Boggarts, and right here is there's the cover.
The war president is down and out. Tell the new guy what he's all about.
And the artwork on this, and actually the Warm Pom Poms, was done by our drummer Jay Gavin. He did an awesome job getting the content across through the visual. So about the CD, one thing that a lot of the, well, as we go along, you'll see that a lot of the Nocheez CDs have something in between the songs that sort of connects the CD like a story. As I mentioned in the other one with Warm Pom Poms, how theatrical it is. This is kind of the same thing. On Warm Pom Poms, we have this kind of wild consumer automaton munchbot character, and on this one, actually a poem broken into pieces connects all the songs. The poem is called The Steady, and I tried to take sections of it and fit them with the songs to kind of deliver some sort of thematic message. Now we go to the first song on the CD. It's called Ain't Good Enough, and that one I actually wrote it right around the time Obama had gotten in office. And the idea was that I did find him to possibly be the less destructive candidate. You know, I personally don't find either of the two parties to be very good. I think they're quite damaging. But the idea was to hold all leaders accountable. So even if you know, there was a leader that I believed in more so, I don't think it really should all be on them. I think it should be on us, the people. I think we need to hold them accountable. And the idea was, ain't good enough is the fact that, well, maybe it's a little bit better, but it ain't good enough. And that, I think that's a good message to get across, because I think that's how we have to look at it. So it's kind of a real funky tune. It's got a nasty beat to it, a nasty groove, and some cool harmonies and stuff. Mike Yost is singing that. Was the lead vocalist on that, and Trisha Radil, awesome, who was on all the Nocheez CDs. She's awesome. Just the background on that particular song. And then we move on to, and again, in between, interspersed throughout the CD, is the Steady section of that poem. The next song, though, is called the Burgermeister Meisterburger. This one was inspired. I was going to a gig years back, and there was this documentary on this beauty pageant for like 3-year-olds, and it really freaked me out. It stuck in my head, and I was just thinking about some of the parental values I thought maybe were kind of destructive now. But basically the song is, if you remember the Burgermeister Meisterburger, the cartoon, I think that came around Christmas time, when that nasty mayor took all the toys away from the children at Christmas time. Well, I kind of used him as a reference to maybe some bad parenting ideas, and the parents being the Burgermeister Meisterburger, and you know, like putting your 3-year-old through a pageant and getting them to look at themselves in that way, which again, to me, that's destructive. Everybody can have their own opinion. But that's what that song was based about, and there's some humor in there. But I think it's a good message that, you know, it mentions things like, you know, putting your kids in front of the television and ignoring them after that. Just certain things that maybe wouldn't yield good results. So next piece is Mummarts and Boggarts, the title of the CD. These fictional characters, most people probably have never heard of. In fact, I don't even remember how I stumbled on them. I think it was looking up Rumpelstiltskin, because they are kind of these Rumpelstiltskin-esque characters, these kind of gremlin-y or, like, you know, just creepy characters. So I used Rumpelstiltskin in the story of Mummarts and Boggarts, but the song is really about, and I'm not condemning all religion, I'm saying a certain religious power structures and institutions have been, as we've seen through time, have been very negative and all-consuming on people and almost cultic, or often cultish, right? And have been a serious detriment to people's lives, abusive and very controlling. And that's really what the song gets across, and it talks about that kind of control and the fact that maybe these entities are stealing your children, as far as stealing their minds and instilling fear in their hearts and things like that. So that piece kind of addresses that. It's a really progressive music piece, a lot of really cool parts. The evil Nazi mad scientist from Warren Pomps makes his returns in this song, in a really frightening part of the song. I like to do that a lot. You'll notice again, if you listen to the CDs in succession, you'll find all kinds of threads that connect them that I think add depth to all the pieces and to the overall. In fact, I find the whole collection, even the other CDs, like you'll hear things in our Fee Fi Fo CD as of late from Nocheez, like little sounds that are representative of certain ideas. And I think that it's all one piece to me. That's the one thing I really agree with Frank Zappa, where, this is our life. It's almost like, I would view it, actually, I don't know if Frank did, but I view it like almost your biography. And you're putting all your ideas out, and the idea early on is connected to the one later on. It's all one thing, and they all influence each other, and they all affect everything. So I try to have all these connecting threads to make the work more interesting and deeper. So again, there's some connections in there that come back from the last CD, and we'll move on to the following one after this. And in fact, like I said, in Fee Fi Fo and Styrocultural Antidote, even, which are instrumental, you'll even hear maybe a melody from a song from a Nocheez CD, or some kind of sound, or anything like that, that means something, to me at least. And I hope that if you do listen, that you pick up on it, because I think, again, that makes it really interesting. The next piece is called Bending Back Forward. It was based on kind of my worldview through a Dali painting, and that turned out really interesting. It also uses some theory. I have this theory that I've been working on for years, actually, and it finds itself in the music, inside the music, in all different ways. Sometimes more subtly, and sometimes all-encompassing. But it's kind of this idea of I don't want to say key, because I don't think key is the right word for it. It's one giant sound that has an incredible array of options and harmonizations that I worked out through combining scales and harmonizing off all 12 tones. And it just gave me this overall sound. I said, wow, that's really interesting, after I worked on it for a while. And it's something that can be really delved further into, and I plan to continue through a lot of music, going deeper and deeper into that. And I'll be talking about that again in some of the other upcoming videos about with Styrocultural Antidote, where that theory is actually used to improvise from absolutely nothing. So it's a really cool theory, and some of the harmonies and stuff in this song, the way the chords are constructed, ended up in it, and I think that added some depth to it also. Following that, the Nazi returns again. Oh, he's a scary fella. This piece is called Is There a Hell? And it's a commentary on certain destructive corporations. It's almost like a reporter reading, or like this board meeting where this capitalist who only cares about money, not his destruction of what he's doing to attain that money, is just reading a report about what they need to do, and it's based on factual information on what some corporations have done. And it's really cool. Part of it is in German with the Nazi. It's actually spoken in German. There's two voices, one whispering in English in one speaker, and in another speaker, the evil Nazi mad scientist repeating the same things, not exactly at the same time. It's a really cool contrast, and the music behind it is just frightening. In fact, one of my friends asked me to take the lyrics off because they're a little bit visceral, and he takes the music and uses it for Halloween, and somehow it's more scary than the CDs that he buys for Halloween. So I guess I did the job right. Following that is a song called Living Large, and it was originally this piece was actually brought in by Fred Melillo, our bassist. We rearranged things. I wrote some different, I wrote a melody and lyrics to it, and some different chordal things within the verses and stuff that were a little bit different, and we kind of made this hybrid of what he had prior. And it's really about the arrogance and hubris of greed and how certain people act. So it's again going along that idea of this, like, I guess it's the corporate section of the CD, or the anti-corporate section of the CD. And that actually even carries on into the next piece, which is called Like the Man. The piece is really, to me, I mean, a lot of these pieces, I'm giving you a quick summation. They have a lot of different layers to me and what they mean to me. So when I describe some of these things, you could get what you want out of it. And actually, sometimes I have multiple reasons for making it, but I'm just giving you, trying to give you a quick summation of kind of at least what part of these pieces mean to me. And they grow with time, honestly, because I think music stays alive. I don't think it ever dies. It continues to grow. There's no reason why it has to just be this thing. Anytime I can apply more meaning to it in my mind, well, it's there. And if you apply it, it's there also. That's why these are living, music's a living entity. And the cool thing is, if you do a version of it live, you can add some of these new things into it and you know, really bring it to the fore and show the new idea. But anyway, Like the Man is really about the oppression. How often, sometimes you see people who were oppressed, and they become like the oppressor, which is something that amazed me. And to me, the man was this kind of this structure that we have now, and people are trying to get in those positions. It's kind of disturbing to me, because I think you can't forget what some of these things are doing to other people, and what they may have done to you before you were inside of it and benefiting from it. So that's really what that song is about. It's about, you know, again, oppressed people becoming oppressors. This goes into another, almost a lighthearted song. It's called What's a Nice Girl Like You Doing in a Place Like This? It was titled that because originally this is one of the very experimental pieces. Most all my CDs can have some really experimental pieces on them. This is definitely one of them. It was originally written based off theories from my phone number. So I took my phone number and I took the zero out, you know, out of the area code, and I just had the pure numbers. And I said I would apply musical theories to each of those numbers. And the phone number became all the time signatures through each bar. I improvised the melody over I improvised the rhythm for the melody, and then I just applied keys to each bar. So if you have 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, you know, I won't give my whole telephone number up, but you have all these different time signatures and keys in every bar, in every time signature, and then I applied the telephone number at the top of the rhythm to get a melody, because I used the number to apply to the note of the chord or the scale that goes over the chord. Okay, and then I offset the telephone number to get the harmonies. It's a real complicated thing, but it came out incredibly interesting. It sounded really cool to me. So the intro and outro, the sandwich of the song, is, well, the outside, the bread, is basically based on that, and the middle is a totally different thing. In the middle of it, well, since I used a telephone number, What's a Nice Girl Like You Doing in a Place Like This, the middle of the tune, I looked up all these ridiculous pickup lines that guys use, and I just put them in the song, and I had this kind of stuffy, arrogant guy talking, you know, spewing these ridiculous lines at women, and it's humorous to me. Okay, again, I like to, here and there, I mean, that's part of me. Another thing, I guess I would agree with Frank, but I was always like this. I think humor is, Frank Zappa, sorry. humor is just part of, it's one of the emotions that you have. I mean, it's strange to me to exclude it. I've always joked about things, you know, I'm very serious at times, but I've also been, you know, I'll make a joke out of it because I love comedy, I love humor. I think it's actually often a better way to teach and it gets across to people. So anyway, I like to insert things like that. Now the final song on here is called Round World, and just like with the War and Pom Pom CD, I installed a song that would have some hope. And Round World, I think, is pretty descriptive. We're all on this planet together, and I really believe we're connected, and we have to be. There's no different races. Scientifically, there's the human race. That's it. There's not a black race, and we're all one race. You know, eye color, skin color. Those are just you know, different things that we have, but that doesn't make you a different race. Okay. So, Round World, yeah, we're all one species, and we actually, I think we're all connected even to the animals and to the ecosystem, and we should respect all those things. It's ridiculous not to live in cohesion with it. So, Round World is, again, some hope at the end of the CD. Something positive. It's a real funky tune, too. It's got like a, sort of a New Orleans groove to it. Cool harmonies. It's more like a chorus, you know, and I think it's a nice way to end off the CD. And there's so many different styles of music on the CD. You got funky stuff, you got very progressive stuff, some completely avant-garde stuff mixed in, and that's what most of the Nocheez CDs are actually really like. They have a lot of different styles that tell the story. I don't hold back that. And I think it is a problem, actually, with getting listeners. It seems the eclecticism, unfortunately, bothers people. I think a lot of people are used to getting a collection of songs that are all very similar on the CD. And with Nocheez, we really break that mold. I just don't care. It's just about, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to tell the story. You know, it tells it in a particular way that I think the music should match it. You know, it's not like I have to have all this one sound. So anyway, that's kind of what Mummarts and Boggarts is all about. Really, it's a cool CD. I'll put it up here again. All this stuff is available on CD Baby and on iTunes. CD Baby, you can get the hard copy, and you can even contact me. I'm going to put information at the bottom of the video so you can, I hope you can support it. We really want to keep going. I think you once you get into it, you'll find a treasure trove of really interesting music. And again, I hope that you get something out of it. I mean, I did. Everything right after this is a bonus. If you get something out of it, awesome. If you hate it, hey, that's not even a problem. There's, you know, I have no problem with people's opinions. Everybody likes what they like, and that's okay. The only thing I ask is that maybe be open, and if you're open to things, I know that's happened to me. There's times that, you know, we're all closed, and you don't find something, you don't find the gem. And maybe this could be a gem too, I don't know, but possibly. But if we all keep really open and give things a chance, we can find out that, like, wow. Again, like, I've had albums like that at first I thought were terrible in a way, and then I listened to it again and said, that's sheer genius, you know. Anyway, so, yeah, I'll get on hopefully doing some more of the series. I'm going to do another Nocheez after this one, and hope you enjoyed it, you got something out of it, and take care.